Welcome to Tidbit Talkin. Here's some ideas about boatloads of entertainment media. Some serious, others not so much. Generally only spoilers for whatever's currently featured, and a bit of vague references to other things in a shared universe. Now with all of that out of the way, here we go. Ravio is able to expertly save Link after Yuga's thrashing, but not before, because he knows exactly how almost winning against the guy goes. It's a whole thing with him having cunning to figure things out in hindsight, but still lacking the courage to try again on his own. Being stealthy lets him inch towards that bravery, while still feeling like his naturally cowardly self. Thankfully, this odd form of training paid off over time, and he was able to come and assist in the endgame. Only this one dude is forbidden from engaging in personal conversation while performing security drills because he accidentally stabbed one of his teammates during some non-Mortal Kombat practice banter. Sir Small Slasher Savior probably keeps that sword strike punching bag dummy scarecrow deal at home because part of his blacksmith training involves both knowing how swinging a proper blade feels in order to make the best one, and also QA testing on occasion, because those royal troops are often too busy for such not directly castle-protecting tasks. These giant cuckoos could very well be the ones who experience extreme happiness after Link succeeded in completing earlier difficulties, hence why they don't appear in that first level of play. They're enemies that were normally only found in the Dark World, Light Plays present, because they were chasing after Mr. Almost a Hero as he fled from Low Rule. Osfala's all cocky about being in possession of a sand rod because he believes his great sagely magic blood will let him wield it to a degree that enables control over anything that contains the tiniest beach-covering granule traces, including processed bits, like glass bottles and rupees and stuff. These poor soldiers who emerge from walls may only be aggressive because time works differently in their bricky prisons and thus they've completely lost their minds over centuries of confinement or something. This comfortably smash into wall tile puzzle was likely intended for a situation in which the hero was wielding two sorts of shots at once, as his ancestors often did. Those swift sprint savoring siblings seem like they might be some folks who figured out how to fabricate Pegasus boots quite easily and began mass producing the things. Hence them making competitive country trotting a thing, and how that one shady dude who stole the smooth gem got a pair without any fuss whatsoever. This huge key was dumped so close to that door because the place's architects understood how nauseating navigating it is and wanted to spare people misery from backtracking if missing junk action happened to occur. Irene is the second from last new stage to vanish because, generally, flying people are harder to catch than grounded folks. Impa's the final wise one canvas sealed, and Zelda is able to evade paint-plugging Predator for so long right beside her because she knows lots of ninja-esque hiding spots in Hyrule Castle. Yuga's able to absorb Ganon relatively easily because being revived in an entirely different, mostly opposite world is quite disorienting. Rupee fairies alone must make bottles in Low Rule because glasswork is a lost art amongst the people there since they see it as too similar to money. Basically, everybody steals all the materials from each other before anything ever gets done. Also, it seems like there aren't many windows around, so maybe there's a shortage of what's needed, period. Nice weapons work super effective against foes because they can't prepare for something which comes from another dimension that's not currently leaking into their own. The Dr. Midnight ability resembling reverse vision deals in these places, aka that junk where stuff's only seen in complete darkness, are probably a thing because this world's hero needed hardship overcoming training so grandiose that his ruling higher power saw it fit to make sure even basic nighttime didn't scare him. All the chests with monster guts and whatnot might have originally contained cash that Ravio collected for his homeland helping happy heists. After snatching that sweet dough, he refilled them with random junk to compensate whoever tried saving everybody next, so they didn't feel totally let down upon finding truly nothing. Golly's given an evil overlord unleashed time out here because his strict parents never let him play outside when it's night, thus plain old darkness is torture enough for the little guy. An apparently normal key is so precious in this place because it's actually a custom-made one for some type of lock that thief band's members aren't taught to pick, so their boss can dish out proper punishment via intense insanity-inducing, isolating incarceration. Oddball Aussies obtained by the Supreme Stuff Snatcher, since stupid people trapped in pretty pictures make him feel good because such things provide great reminders of how easy marks will always exist. Being rendered a mere collectible is quite the penalty for one so arrogant. These puzzle-solving eye doodads must be made from some sort of supernaturally rubbery material. Hence how they bounce back from those apparently bottomless pits without any presumably goddess-installed safety teleportation hoopla, like this universe's champions typically enjoy. Of course, Low Rule's Master Smith is better than his brighter counterpart. his world is much more violent. Their title is Treasure Hunter, not Puzzle Solver. Thus these folks can always find stuff, but never obtain it. Circe is simply suffering stashed somewhere. Beautiful light, like what she's accustomed to seeing every day at home through a stained glass window, can never reach. The cracks that lead into that not officially dark realm form during halfway point shenanigans because a powerful being from said falling apart world fused together with a mighty force connected to this one. This locale was probably used to control Lorule's water supply and grant its citizens that sweet plumbing luxury goodness. Their Triforce breaking and shattering thy dimension is what turned it into a demon-infested dump as opposed to a regular one. The spa-adoring Zora Queen won one free trip to a dirty swamp sewer combo deal from that kooky demon raffle. That wall got sticky enough for a turtle to hang up there because those quest-fetched mystical squid babies move around them a bit at times and they naturally emit some kind of adhesive slime. Auntie Shinobi is imprisoned here because she really enjoyed the royal hot spring at Hyrule Castle and this was an extreme ironic punishment kind of deal. Magically improved battle twirling doesn't cause conductivity counterattacks because it's a power granted by Mother Mai-Mai's reality-altering energy and thus can ignore normal physical law whatever. The treacherous tower's false sense of security tactics on display in later levels works well because Lorule's literal division makes many folks not so able to do world travel successfully, hence they never have any chance at proper rogues gallery assessment. One can't really figure out blobs are weaker than cyclopses if they're never able to physically go next door and compare things. Super lamps and bug nets are around simply because this world's violent nature necessitates absolutely everything being a weapon. Ravio didn't grab the Titan's Mitts and sell them in his shop like the other light items because he had never encountered this type of landscape in his homeworld and thus couldn't easily traverse such bizarre obstacles. Particularly, upon examining the palace, his expert analysis indicated that the substance covering this locale wasn't very smooth, more than a little annoying, and had a tendency to reach many different places simultaneously. Magic taxi ladies left here because the thought of sweeping up such a ginormous area was akin to torture for this usually chore-stacked young woman. Stamina scroll? Simply something an amply experienced mountain climber wrote down. A technique on how to breathe better at high altitude, and in general. Cold containment's best worse for Rosso because of how things would go if he got out of the painting somehow. He'd then be regular stuck somewhere he's not suited to working in, and/or can't make new tools for escape assisting action. Death Mountain in this dimension is referred to as such not just because a lot of folks lose their lives there. It's also due to the fact living things can't really flourish in such a place, period. Purple Princess didn't seal the castle to prevent Yuga's minions from getting out. She did so to not reveal it was already in a tortured dungeon sort of shape right when Link arrived. Hilda's hesitance about working with said upfront villain might be a reason there's so many hero helping heaps around these parts in the form of useful potion-making ingredients. These four beasts were chosen to guard Her Majesty's chamber seals because they are the ones this land's original hero had the most trouble with. He struggled with them because their color schemes matched those of the rupees he coveted oh so much. It was all very distracting. The three virtues of Lorule's Triforce are things that are beneficial alongside Hyrule's, but don't really work so well alone. Hilda has determination, a trait that can easily backfire if there's no wise forethought regarding the consequences of one's actions available. Ravio has cunning, which helps one use courage to survive impossible odds, but can also lead to some greedy dealings on its own. Off-brand Ganon possesses pride, which helps somebody obtain and hold on to power, but can also delude one into thinking others can have some of their own. That often results in a lack of proper training, which means wacky arrogant folks never really had the other thing to begin with. The Bow of Light isn't merely effective against drawn darkness because of raw, holy artifact power. It also involves how changing lighting conditions can really mess up an artwork's looks. Living the blacksmith life most likely became a family tradition once a certain top-tier trouble tackler returned home from his extensive globe-trotting adventures, because spending much time atop some driftwood brought forth many thoughts of how ships should be created from stuff significantly stronger than tree corpses. Like that junk his unbreakable swords are made from, for instance. These old-style shaded green goo-goons stopped shocking swordsmen when assaulted because ALTTP Link's wish held a great instinctive need for that being an integral part of his remaining life's unending peacefulness. This hero's absurdly active ancestor must have had that lamp buried near himself because it holds great sentimental value as it was the first item grabbed on his inaugural journey. If priests working within the Zelda universe are supposed to stay celibate like they sometimes are in real-world religions, an exception might have been made for this timeline so those people directly spawned from certain 7 sages could have lots of descendants because backup boatloads being available would be quite handy if shenanigans resembling maiden kidnapping junk occurred again, but with a far worse ending. Also, no humans boinked any Gorons. The minor came from a bloodline that was given honorary brother status from Darunia or something, much like OOT Link. The castle must have started a huge remodel almost immediately following a link to the past events, just in case any leftover Ganon minions were lurking about that could sneak in more easily with intel gathered from all that time he spent ruling over said place. If that Triforce wish also erased the memories of evil folks, then some magical Twin Rover crap must have restored knowledge of those events in certain elite demons or whatever. Irene and Mabel are probably from the same civil sorcery practicing clan that has settled the world over. The Smooth Gem is some sort of magical artifact that prevents Zora royalty from growing too large. This would be necessary because their essences of familial mysticism fused with the deceased Lord Jabu Jabu's soul in this lots of dead good guys holding timeline, since its sacred power had to go somewhere that wasn't demon pig ruled. Tremendous rupee abundance in this game could very well be caused by the Minish working extra hard because they sense 2 hero souls traveling about. It may be much easier to build new hero trial places where mystical, benevolent beings formerly dwelt because their leftover energy lingers in such a way that prevents evil from ever truly triumphing there. Sometimes they may even directly help with the construction process. Gleeful guiding ghosts in the Lost Woods may be spirits of those thief cokery dudes who lived there during ALTTP. The blacksmith bros from said game might have had a piece of Master Ore each as a sort of family heirloom that's a graduation present one receives when inheriting their business kinda deal. Ancient top-down Link sword upgrades faded over time because he died. This one's vanished almost instantly because they were forged from material found in a place that gets completely altered via god magic at the story's end. Endings are a pain, but all of you are fantastic. See ya.